Thank you for joining us again. If you've joined us for the past couple of streams, you might have noticed a mysterious disembodied voice behind the camera. That's my husband, Mike, and so he's going to be joining us on camera this week for the first time as my very special guest. So, Mike, please join us.
Yes, I was just logging in to make sure we can read comments and stuff.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think we're all set
You
up.
guys see me okay?
Yes.
Am I good? All right.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
You got things in your teeth.
Oh, no. That's embarrassing. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, babe.
Welcome.
Anyway, so this is Mike. This is my husband. He's been working with us for quite a long time now. We've been together for 18 years. So
Yeah,
he's
2002.
been part of the Evolution family, officially and unofficially, for quite a while. And so we just we're happy to be back with you again this week. You may have noticed that we skipped last week's episode. We decided that it was best to skip the week because of all of the protests that have been going on in our city and across the country. We wanted the focus to remain on the very important message that the protesters have been putting out there. And we've just been spending the past week working, obviously, but also introspecting a little bit and reflecting. And so Mike wanted to join me today to share with you guys some of the things that we have been thinking about and talking about this week as it relates to the protests and all the important messages that have been out there. So take it away.
Okay, well, first of all, ever since the protest started, right, we've been talking about it and thinking a lot about it. Just put it out there straight up. I think that Black Lives Matter, and it's important just to start with that. And we do think that police brutality is not cool. So we do support the protest. But I've been thinking, how is it that aside from doing the things that you do in your own, I guess, private life, if that's the best way
Voting and
voting
donating
and donating, right? Like, which are the things that we've been doing. It's like, what can you do extra as a company, right?
Because we're in the unique position to be
Yeah.
not just a family, not just a couple of individuals, but also to have a company and have a business. And so how can we leverage that to do even more and to give back and to contribute?
Yeah, and in fact, a few days ago, maybe almost a week ago, it was going to be a week ago tomorrow, or maybe even today, we posted on Instagram a Black Lives Matter post, and somebody asked, what else are we doing, right? And not that we weren't thinking about it before, but that really kind of drives the message. Is like, what else can we do?
Yeah, words are nice, but actions.
And how
actions
can
are
we
more.
connect to it? And then, and throughout the week, I've been thinking about how is it that I can connect to the movement, and what are the things that I went through in my own experience. As obviously it's not the same, but as a undocumented immigrant in the U.S. and the things I went through in the beginning, how can I connect those two things, right? And specifically, we thought that there's a big void, I guess, of I'm not great with words, but there's a big void of minority-owned oddities business. I mean, there's a big void of minority-owned business, period, especially in the luxury sector. I think, like things that are not necessities. And
Yeah, we've been in this business for 27 years now, and we have a lot of contacts, obviously, a lot of vendors, a lot of customers, a lot of partners, and other people in the community that we know. And it's true that it is not the most diverse community.
No, I think I only know like two people. There's more diversity in our vendors because a lot of them are foreign.
They're
obviously.
international,
They're
yeah.
international. But in the retail space, like the customer facing businesses, like oddity shops and mineral shops and things like that, or natural history related shops, I think I can only think of two people, me being the third as a part of like leadership or something. Uh, and uh, and neither of those two people are black either. So if you talk about minority owned is already very low, and you talk about black owned, I can. I mean, I'm sure that there are people out there, but I know a good 50 or more, and uh, I cannot think of anyone. And then I thought about how is it that I came to this, and I started working for Evolution. I think I started working here over 10 years ago, right? You reminded me earlier.
It's been a
I
while.
thought it was 10 years, but I guess it's been longer than that. Uh, and and then I started getting more involved. I actually started as a tech here doing computer work, and then I got more involved into the business part and like the buying and whatnot. And one of the reasons why I think I fell in love with the product, aside from when I was a kid I was into dinosaurs and stuff like that, is that I had the opportunity to go to college, right? I think a lot of our clients and a lot of our uh, like other owners, are college educated. They appreciate the product beyond just the way it looks. I mean, I think the way it looks is cool, but often you have to appreciate the product deeper. And I don't think I would have been able to connect with it at that level if I didn't have the opportunity to get a high school degree, let alone on top of it a college degree as well. So we thought that the best way, and while, as we mentioned, the police brutality thing is horrible, and we need to support the protesters and support Black lives, so Black people feel safe, right, when they are in the street. I do think that this whole thing starts way earlier. Growing up here in the U.S., kind of growing up, I got here when I was 17 as an immigrant and having and going to a high school, a very very diverse high school. You can see that there's like a void of opportunity, and without opportunity, you don't get to do, get higher income and appreciate different things, and stuff like that. And so we figured that one of the ways that we could help, that will connect with us, is by giving back to a school and giving the opportunity of a disadvantaged young adult to go to college like I did. In fact, when I was younger and I went to the high school, Manhattan Comprehensive Night and Day, that's where I went in 14th Street. Uh, I could not afford to go to college, and I also was undocumented, so I couldn't get financial aid to go to
Yeah,
college.
you couldn't qualify for any of the
I
traditional scholarships or
No.
financial aid programs.
Yeah, and a nice couple from the New York Times decided to sponsor me, and connected through my school, and pay for my first 2 years of community college, which was great. And that kind of started me in the path of learning and learning more, and from after graduating community college, I went to a 4 year college, so on and so forth. So I figured that that idea is very powerful, and helping that way, it's a way that both I can connect personally, and I think it would be a cool way to connect as a company to try to give somebody a chance to uh, go to college.
So can you tell us a little bit about, so basically the idea is that we're going to try and set up some kind of a scholarship fund or some kind of a fundraiser or something like that so that we can contribute to the educational costs of a young person going to college. And we've decided we're going to try and partner with Manhattan Comprehensive Night and Day High School, which is where Mike graduated from.
Yeah.
It's also a school that is in our community. It's a few blocks away from where our store is located. So we feel like it is a part of our community, and it's someplace local that we can try and reach out to and connect with. And can you tell people maybe why this is such a unique type of school? It's
Yeah.
not just another public school. It's really specialized.
Yeah, well, there's two of them. I mean, at least when I was going, there was two. I don't know if there are more. There's one that's called Manhattan Comprehensive Night and Day High School. It's a long name. And I think there's another one in Brooklyn. if I'm not mistaken, which will be Brooklyn Comprehensive. And what it is there's two parts of the school. The uh, American part, I guess, for American young adults, right, is that if you did not have, for whatever reason, did not have the opportunity or the chance to graduate high school, right? So you go to high school and then you either dropped out. In fact, in New York City, I don't know if this is true for the entire state, but if you reach 18 years of age and you haven't graduated high school, by 19 you have to get out, so you get kicked out. So your only option after that is getting a GED, right? But this particular high school, they will take kids from 16 all the way up to 21. So what that means is that it gives an opportunity for kids that dropped out of school for a few years, or could not finish high school, and give them a chance to get a full high school education and not just a GED, right? And that's the school I went to. There were two kind of terms or times.
Two sessions.
Two sessions. Yeah, like a morning session and a night session. I believe in Brooklyn, they have two sessions as well, but that's for American kids that could not graduate high school. And then the morning session for the school I went to in Manhattan, that's in 14th Street, there is a lot of immigrants, right? That for some reason either did not graduate their own high school back where they come from, and or did not.
Or the credits didn't transfer.
The credits
or
didn't
something like
transfer,
that.
or not all credits transfer, and so you can go to the high school and get yourself a kind of full-fledged high school education. I got a Regents degree, and if I didn't go to that school, the only thing I could have done, because I was too old to go to normal high school, when I got here I was 17, and you start high school at like 14 or something, so they won't take you. So I couldn't go to high school, so I went to this school instead and graduated with a Regents degree. If you're from New York City, you would understand what that means, right?
Yeah. And so basically, this is just a really, really special school doing really important work for a very diverse community. And it's important to us because Mike graduated from there, and also they're neighbors of ours in the city. And so we thought, one good way that we can help, keep the momentum going from all of the thinking and reflecting that so many people have been doing, including ourselves, these past couple of weeks, is to try and set up some kind of a scholarship that we can help a young person with some of their future college expenses. And so what we're going to do is we are going to figure out exactly all of the details, but the idea is that we would do some kind of we would like maybe give all the profits from a day of sales or something like that to this fund. We have our evolution anniversary every year on July 3rd. That's when our store first opened its doors, and so we're coming up very, very soon on our 27th anniversary. And we thought, that would be a great opportunity to give back, and a great way of celebrating every year is to try and do something like that. We don't know if we can do it exactly on July 3rd this year, just because the reopening is we're still getting into the swing of things, but definitely at some point this summer. And then, for the coming years, we'll try and do it around the anniversary. That'll be a good time for us to reflect and remember and give back.
Yeah.
So that's the idea.
It's real tough, it's good for, like when I got the chance to go to college, a lot of my friends didn't have the opportunity, right? They didn't manage to graduate. I was actually one of 9 Brazilians that graduated high school. Everybody else dropped out. 2 other ones got, and that is from my group of friends. 2 other ones got a GED a few years later, but I was the only one that graduated. And that high school is full of, all of my group of friends were people from all over the world. Tons of people from South America. Tons of people from Haiti, Africa.
Yeah, very international.
China, Japan. We had people from everywhere. Uh, a lot of people from Western Europe, no, Eastern Europe, right?
Hmm.
Like Thomas. So it was a crazy melting pot of people with children, that were struggling, couldn't finish high school because they had a kid, and then got a second chance there. Not everybody can afford college, and even if you get financial aid and stuff, sometimes it won't cover if
Books
you
and,
books or
travel
childcare or
expenses, or
travel
yeah.
expenses, exactly. So I think that was a good way to try to connect, and obviously the more opportunity there is for disadvantaged people, the more chances that they have to start their own businesses. Maybe they will start some oddity businesses, or maybe they will get into the whole oddity thing. So or natural history and stuff. So I think it's a good way to connect, with that community.
Yeah. So yeah, so we wanted to share that with you, what we've been thinking about and reflecting about. And in the meantime, we do have some new products that we wanted to share with you.
Yeah.
We had set this up for last week, so they've been on the website for a week now. You might have seen them, but for those of you who haven't seen them, we have them ready to share with you today. So Mike is going to go back to the computer
Yep.
where he
I
belongs,
am.
all right, where he's most comfortable, behind the scenes. And if you have any comments or questions, he'll read them for me and I can try and answer. So, to start off with today, oh, and as a reminder, we are doing free shipping on these three items for US orders only via USPS. And so, if you place an order for any of these items within the next week, they will be coming out to you with free shipping. So, definitely check those out. And so, the first item I wanted to show you today, it's an amazingly interesting item. If you don't know what it is, you can almost guess what it is just by looking at it.
Yeah.
It is strikingly strange the way that nature sort of works sometimes. So this is a fossil whale ear bone, and it looks exactly like an ear when you look at it. It's really amazing, although of course it doesn't sit on the outside of the whale's head, obviously. It's an internal bone, but for some reason it looks exactly like a human ear. So anyway, it's just funny how nature works sometimes. But anyway, so this is a fossil whale ear bone. It was found in southeast USA, so think, Florida, that sort of region. The scientific name for this bone is called the tympanic bulla. So that is what this bone is called. That's what its function, I guess, what its anatomical sort of designation is. It's about 15 million years old, which means it's from the Miocene epoch. And what's interesting about the Miocene epoch is that it is when sort of the more modern animals, recognizably modern animals, started to evolve. So the whales during this time would have looked very similar to the whales that we see today, and other animals that we're more familiar with, large mammals and stuff like that. Those started to evolve during that period as well.
How big is a human ear bone? I mean,
It's teeny tiny. I
it's
mean, it's
like
like the
like
less than
about
a
a millimeter, right?
less than a grain of rice, I would imagine, like
Yeah.
really tiny. And so this is obviously, quite different from that. Um, can you, what's interesting is that we see these all the time when we go shopping, right, Mike? We see these fossil whale
Yes.
ear bones. They're quite common. And it kind of got me thinking, why don't we see more other fossil whale bones? Why is it always the ear bones that we find?
Oh, like why? That's a good point. I mean, I don't think we seen any other whale material. I mean, I think there was some guy selling maybe teeth.
I
I don't
don't
know, but
know.
that's a
Yeah.
good point. These fossils, as far as whale material goes, it's quite common.
Yeah.
You know.
And so, well, I did a little research,
Uh
so
huh. I imagine.
that's my thing, and I found out that actually the ear bone itself, for some reason, is made of a denser material than the other bones in the whale's body,
Huh.
and so it fossilized better. It was more, better preserved.
Okay.
So that's why there happen to be so many fossil whale ear bones as opposed to other types of bones
Yeah.
that whales had. So very interesting. And the function of the whale ear bone, just like any other ear bone, obviously, is to vibrate, which helps, to process sound. And also, it was so hard and dense because it was supposed to protect the very delicate sort of auditory tissues that surrounded it. So it needed to be extra sturdy. So just some interesting whale ear bone facts. And so whale ear bones obviously are different than human ear bones. One way is that they're specially adapted to hear underwater. Obviously,
Well,
the
yeah.
the the you know
I
the
would hope
resonances
so.
are going to be quite different
Yeah.
if you've ever gone underwater, in a pool and tried to talk to someone. Obviously, it's very muffled,
Oh,
and we
I
can't.
might know a fact, but you might not know.
Okay.
Sound travels faster underwater than in the air.
Okay.
That's why you have this really weird. I mean, I don't know if anybody done that, but if you drop a coin in a far side of the pool, away from you, you hear it almost immediately.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
travels very, very fast.
Well, and that's interesting. And obviously, our auditory processes aren't sort of made to be able to process that sound in a way that's not distorted to us.
Hmm.
But that's very interesting.
Yep, I know
Whale
something.
whale facts. And then the other thing about these whale hearing that I learned is that whales actually don't have any external ear holes. So the sound doesn't go through, the air, obviously, the way that it does for us. So it doesn't go through the ear holes. It doesn't have ear holes. It just sort of vibrates the water, and that's how they pick up the vibrations. And they don't make sound, obviously, in the same way that we do by, vibrating vocal cords. They don't have that same sort of apparatus. We do that by pushing air through,
Hmm.
through our lungs and through our throats. Obviously, whales don't do that. What they do, they found, is similar to actually how snakes communicate, which is they vibrate their mandibles.
Mm.
And that is how they create those noises and vibrations that travel through the water. So, anyway, just some very interesting facts about whale ear bones. So, I always love these episodes because I get to learn all kinds of new and interesting things. The next item we have for you is also a fossil. It is, if you can see this, try and bring it up. It is a piece of dinosaur bone, which is very cool. It was found in Utah, in the U.S. It's about 165 million years old, which puts it in the Jurassic period. And the Jurassic period was defined by sort of being the age of reptiles. Dinosaurs were the dominant life form during that period. And so we have an abundance of dinosaur bones from that period that we can collect and study. And uh, it's always sort of interesting to figure out, kind of like with the whale ear bones, why is this particular thing preserved rather
Hmm.
than something else? And why are there so many dinosaur bones in Utah that have been so well preserved? Again, it's just a
Yeah.
weird, the stars have to sort of align for something like that to happen. And So there was in Utah, in this area where the bones were found, where the fossils were found, there used to be a big river, and then the river dried up. And can you guess sort of why we find so many dinosaur bones in that location?
Hmm. Well, I mean, if anything, if I learned anything in the past few episodes that we've done, is that it all has to do with water.
Yes,
uh,
exactly. Water is a
which
key fact.
obviously a key fact in the fossilization. So,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I would say as the river dried up, these things are probably under the riverbed.
Well, what happened is, well, first of all, so many dinosaurs died in search of water. So they would go back to the
Okay.
river year after year as part of their maybe like migration patterns or
Yeah.
something. But on some years, the river was dried up. There was a drought. And so, hundreds and hundreds of bodies would be found, by the riverbed
Oh.
because they would go there. There would be no water. They would die. And then later on in the season or the next year, whenever the drought ended, the water would come and would bury
Mm-hmm.
all of the bodies with sand and water and stuff like that, and they were exceptionally well preserved. So
That's
I just think
interesting.
it's fascinating how all the stars have to align just right for these things to happen and be preserved, and for us to be able to
Uh,
enjoy them.
the yellow one has particularly cool.
This one,
No, the other one. Yeah, that one
this one.
has these particularly cool little tiny. Let me zoom in. Uh, like, it looks like I forgot the name of this thing. It's like this bone, that bone structure.
Like
That
bone marrow.
kind of, yeah. I forgot the name of them, but I know for a fact that not all of those little bones have that structure. Some of them,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even some of the ones that we have are kind of plain. But that little yellow one has these really cool that if you break a bone,
Yeah.
not a chicken bone, but like a mammal's bone or
Mm-hmm.
something, you will see that it's porous inside. It's got like
Yeah.
this.
So it has these little cellular
Yeah,
structure.
yes.
And so that's what's really interesting is that the cell structure varies obviously from piece to piece and is preserved differently. And so if you can see these little tiny sort of like speckles of
Yeah.
different colors, those are the different cell walls and haven't been replaced by different minerals and stuff.
Yeah, they all have it, but some of them are more obvious than others.
Yeah.
The yellow one is particularly obvious, but they all kind of have
Yep.
the
And
cellular structure thing.
yeah, the cellular structure having been preserved.
And I think that that's pretty unique to dinosaur bone in particular. Like I've seen, you have fossil teeth, right? Like you can get all kinds of different dinosaur teeth and whale ear bones and whatnot. But the fossil bone in particular, this really cool looking
Yeah, the
um,
structure inside.
structure inside that you don't
Definitely.
usually see.
Yep. And so, in fact, it's one of the more prized sort of fossils that are found, and the really unique specimens are used as gemstones, and they use
Mm,
them for jewelry and other sort of decorative objects. You see all the time. We see these beautiful. Like knives with like beautiful, dinosaur bone handles and stuff like that, and beautiful jewelry and other sort of decorative items that are made with that. So it's a very special sort of fossil, and it's used in, like I said, in jewelry making. It's considered a gemstone. And yeah, so you can see the variations in the cellular structure and the color, and that's all based on how the minerals got preserved, or how the minerals replaced the organic material. So that is the dinosaur bone fossil. And then finally, our last item tonight is one of our old favorites, as we call them, one of the items that is most popular on our website that we have been selling for quite a long time, and it is our Chafer beetle in resin. And I really love our resin collection. We have so many different things, so many different things to choose from. This one in particular, like I said, is a Chafer beetle. The scientific name is Trigonophorus rothschildi. Um,
it's always
and
fun to listen to you pronounce the
yeah,
scientific name
no
of
one knows
things.
if I'm making it up. I could just be totally like bullshitting you. Anyway, and this specimen is native to China, so that's where they're from. Really beautiful coloration. So as I said, they're chafer beetles. They're also called flower chafers. And the reason for that is because they are extremely good pollinators, and they're really important to the ecosystem, and do a really good job of you know, pollinating flowers and stuff. So they're often found with flowers, and that's why they're called flower chafers. And so Mike, you know this because you work very closely in the shipping department and the warehouse. we sell so many resin specimens. It's
Yeah.
by far one of our
I
most
think we
popular
have like
categories.
over. I think we have over 100 different kinds of resin product.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Can you think of like some of the different? So we have insects. What else do we have?
Well, we got insects. We have my favorite ones, which I dig a lot, is the life cycle stuff.
Yes,
That
that's
looks
very
pretty cool.
interesting.
And we have life cycles. We have insects, and we have some animals like turtles and I mean, not that insects are not animals, but we
Yeah,
got like
I know
turtles,
what you mean.
bats. We have a few things that are not insects, but one thing I always wish I could have, I mean, it's a little bit off topic, but now that you're talking about flowers, we got from Japan like these little flower pods, flower seeds in resin. But I wish we could get more flower stuff.
That was years ago.
Sorry.
Yeah, so we can definitely look into getting more botanical
Mm-hmm.
things. I think this vendor makes some botanical things. We could
Maybe.
look into that.
Yeah, but we got a lot. We got like 100 different things.
Yeah, we have so many different ones to
And
choose
these are
from.
pretty good quality.
Oh
We've
yeah.
tried different people, and we looked. First of all, often I mean, if you're into it, like often they are not regular shaped. Like they're not
Mhm.
perfect.
Mhm.
If I use my math term here, parallelopipes.
The
They're kind of like all over the place. And
resin blocks
also,
themselves, you mean?
huh?
The resin blocks
The resin
themselves?
block themselves, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
They're
the
like all
from other
weird.
people, not
Yeah,
not this line.
not from this line, but
Yeah.
that's cool that these are nice, regular, and they never come with bubble.
Yeah, there's no air
Often,
bubbles trapped inside. It's 100% clear, really
yep. And
good.
the specimens that they choose are nice and large, and it's cool
Mhm.
looking.
Absolutely.
Very happy.
And so I really think that this is an important part of our product line because um, I think it's important for us to carry resin products just because there are so many different benefits to it. They're extremely durable, first of all, which I think is wonderful. You really get, for not a lot of money, you get a really good, long lasting product. They're very affordable. And I often recommend them to teachers and educators and students because they're really excellent for study. Artists as well, they want to be able to draw from life. This is a really fantastic way of getting a 365-degree view of a specimen that you can use over and over again to, like I said, either study or draw from. So that's what I often recommend this to people in education, and also for kids. People often ask me for product recommendations for kids'
Yeah.
gifts and stuff like that. A lot of the things that we sell are fragile or very expensive. This is not that. This
Yeah,
is very
we
affordable,
sell
very
the
durable.
Behind you we have some like the framed insects,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is what 10 times the price of
Yeah.
these things, which is a beautiful art piece for you to appreciate. But then kids like bugs too. These things are affordable. That one is $12, I think. They're durable. If they fall on
Yeah.
the ground,
It
even
lasts
if they
for.
chip, you can still look inside. So if
Yeah.
they fall, if somebody chucks them, whatever. And they look pretty. I mean, I have a few that I keep myself, and it still looks cool on the shelf
Oh yeah, and they
because
last
they look
forever.
like they're floating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I really think I believe in this product line, and this product in particular, the Chafer Beetle, is really exceptionally wonderful. So definitely check that out. And so I just wanted to close today for by thanking everyone for joining us for these 10 episodes. This is episode 10
Yes.
of the Evolution Show, as we've been calling it. And I wanted to thank everyone who's engaged with us, both on Facebook and on YouTube. We've been posting the videos to YouTube as well.
We got one comment.
And we got a
I
comment,
don't
which
know
I
if we
wanted
had
to
another.
read
Oh,
it.
you got it?
Yeah, we've gotten a few comments, but this one in particular was
Yeah, we gotta
was
start
really
reading
nice.
comments, right? Like to
So
engage with people.
so I wanted to read the comment and share it just to show my appreciation for everyone who has watched and engaged with us and participated. It's been wonderful. So this comment is from Joanna Arts, and it's from episode 8. And she says, Those cobra vertebrae necklaces and bracelets are wicked. I'm so getting a pair when I have some extra spending money. I'm happy that they're made from the byproduct of the snake being eaten instead of killing them for the product itself. So thank you, Joanna Arts, for your comments.
Yeah,
Thank you for watching.
I got one here.
And yep,
That's mine.
we don't just sell them; we also wear them and use them. And so we'll definitely try and feature some jewelry on an upcoming episode, some more jewelry, and some more snake products, because I think that particular confluence is a good one, jewelry and snake products. But we can also do that separately as well.
Tons of our stuff is byproduct. You'll be surprised how you can find really cool, beautiful, natural things by just the food you eat. I mean, we sell octopuses.
Oh yeah, things from fish markets, things from
like fishes
other
and
industries.
All kinds of stuff. That is a byproduct of often food industry that people eat, and and they can't eat anymore because it might go rotten or whatever. Or we get the parts that they don't eat. Like people don't usually eat the bones of the snake.
Yeah.
but you'll be surprised of the amount of cool stuff that's out there that is just stuff that we throw away.
Yep, absolutely. So thank you for thank you for participating. Please keep the comments coming. We would love to read another comment on another episode. So our next episode is going to be next Monday at 9 p.m. We're going to change the time a little bit to try and accommodate people on the West Coast. We don't want to do it too early in the day to try and accommodate people on the West Coast who might be joining us. So right now the plan is to do next Monday at 9. We will let you know if that changes. And in the meantime, just thank you so much for your support. Also wanted to announce that today, Monday, June 8th, New York City is re-entering phase 1 of reopening.
Yep.
And so our store is going to be available for curbside pickup. So if there's anything that you've been wanting that you would like to come pick up from the store, please give us a call, send us an email. We would be more than happy to get that together for you. And we're going to have people working in the store pretty much every day this week, doing inventories and sprucing things up and taking care of some things. And they would be more than happy to meet you and, hand you anything that you would like to get from the store. We just ask that people please call ahead so that we can get your payment information, have it all wrapped up and ready for you to go. So in the meantime, thanks so much for everyone's support. 10 episodes is really great. And we will see you next week. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.